All right, here it goes. A minor league meltdown of major proportions. Earl Weaver, Billy Martin, and Lou Piniella would all be proud. If you haven't seen it yet, pay attention. If you have, you can't see it enough. This is Mississippi Braves manager Philip Wellman going grenade on everyone. He absolutely put on a 2-minute, 16-second tirade that the fans loved every second of, and a kiss and a wave goodbye on the way out. Oh, you can bet this will be a YouTube favorite for years to come. Frank Burke is the general manager of the opposing team Friday night, the Chattanooga Lookouts. In fact, he was Philip's boss when Wellman used to manage. He's a fan favorite there in Chattanooga, and you can see why. Frank joins us now to talk about the managerial meltdown. All right, Frank, what did you think when Wellman first came out to argue Friday?
Well, actually, he came out in the first inning to express some things. Philip doesn't keep a lot inside, obviously, and he came out in the first inning. And when I saw that, I went to charge up our video camera because I knew he would not make it through all 9 innings. So when I was inside when I heard that he had been ejected from the dugout, and when I came out, he had already covered up home plate and was on his way to third base. Philip has never been cheated when he's been ejected, so I knew that we were in for some entertainment, that's for sure.
At what point during that 2-minute, 16-second tirade did you realize, okay, this one's going to be pretty good?
Well, you know, covering up home plate is kind of a standard, and I knew when he went over to third base that he was going to make this one last a little bit. You know, he's not a rookie. If you go over to third base and try to pick it up without kicking it first, it can be hard to get out. So Philip kicked it first and then pulled it out. You don't want to, you don't want to look stupid trying to pull it out. And I knew when he took third base that we were in for a pretty good show. I did not anticipate the hand grenade.
Was that your favorite part of the tirade, the hand grenade?
Actually, my favorite part is right after he does the hand grenade thing. He stands up, and I don't really know what he was doing, but he did something that looked a little bit like Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, where he just kind of puts his hands up by his head and says something to the umpire. That was actually my favorite part, and I did like the blowing the kiss at the end.
Yeah, that was sealed with a kiss. Frank, you know the man well. I can't help but think, as I see him doing his jungle crawl on the infield, that maybe there's just a part of Philip that's not all there. Is he all there, or is this all just for show and he's just having a great time?
Well, I think it's mostly for show, but I think people need to understand minor league managers do this for the love of the game, and Philip is no exception. Philip is an unbelievably passionate man about what he does. You'd have to be to ride the buses that they ride and do the things that they have to do. I mean, I've seen Philip throw batting practice at 2 p.m. on an afternoon when it's 95 degrees to a young man who may or may not make the major leagues. This is all about passion. And so, but Philip also recognizes the entertainment value of an ejection, and you know, he's going to be fine, but he certainly got his money's worth. I think he's surprised at how much attention this one's gotten because he's done it many times before. Not the crawling on the ground, but Philip understands that when you're ejected, there's a certain showmanship to it. But I think that I'm not sure you can be all there to do what those guys do. It's really about passion, and you know, it's also about sticking up for your players. I think it's important to remember Philip was out there defending his players.
Well, he was. Frank, was this his best argument ever?
Not to me. You know, we've debated that a little bit. I've known Philip for almost a decade, and I've seen quite a few. My favorite still, I think, is the night that he slid into third head first to demonstrate how out a guy was. And that's really my favorite, mostly because Philip had so many abrasions on his body afterwards.
Last thing before we let you go, Frank, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm curious. It's hard to watch this and not be entertained. What were the umpires saying about it? Did you hear what they had to say afterwards?
I've not talked to these umpires. I know in the past that most of the umpires have tried to avoid laughing because, you know, I mean, it is comical what he's doing. And Philip's always been real good about not getting, you know, if he had wanted to hit the guy with a rosin bag, for example, he probably could have. You know, he's always tried to just put on a little show, and everybody, I think, knows it's part of minor league baseball and entertainment.
Well, it certainly was, and I give him a lot of credit for the rosin bag toss. He couldn't have put it any closer without actually hitting him. It was perfectly placed. Frank Burke, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And you just can't see this enough, and you know that we're going to have our guys weigh in on that. Take another look at it. Skip, Ryan, Doug. Honestly, for minor league baseball, that's worth the price of admission every single time. In fact, just the chance that he might go off would get me to go to some Mississippi Braves games. At the end of it, though, is this good for baseball? Are you guys okay with that?
Outside of home runs, 97-mile-per-hour pitches or faster, gyro balls, you need some kind of entertainment, some kind of excitement. I love the Bobby Coxes, the Lou Pinellas, this manager in minor league baseball that drives around on buses in the heat with guys that might never get a sniff of the majors. It's entertaining, and I absolutely loved it. Skip, as a matter of fact, it's taking a lot right now for me to stay in my seat and not crawl across this table and throw a pin at you like it's a grenade. I thought it was sexy as all get out.
Yeah, that was fabulous. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. He did the Spider-Man crawl / G.I. Joe, throws the rosin. If you look closely, he pulls the pin from it first.
Perfectly.
That was classic. And I mean, I mentioned it earlier, man. 162 games. You're already talking about the minor leagues. Bring it on, baby.
You guys must not be much baseball fans, right? Am I right? You don't really like the game.
I like good games.
You're not going to rain on this, are you?
Oh, am I ever?
Oh, my God.
You know what? I'm a huge baseball fan, but there's one aspect of baseball that has always offended me, and that is that the authority figures are allowed to run onto the field and scream in the face of the men who rule on the game, the umpires. Am I right about that?
Well, but it's what separates baseball from the other
this
games.
minor league thing, that was a shameful embarrassment, and that's a fireable offense to me, and he should be suspended for at least 2
Hey,
weeks.
Skip, if you're so opposed to this manager sticking up for his players, how do you feel about the sport of hockey when they get to fighting and going at it, and the referees let them do that?
You're telling me that my game of baseball needs a hockey aspect to be popular for you guys, right?
I'm saying if you're opposed to a manager sticking up for his players and making you laugh in the meantime, you have to be just
Let me ask you a question. What happens in the sports of basketball and football as soon as the coach steps foot on the playing field?
It's a different mindset in
Why?
baseball.
Why should it be?
Historically and traditionally, it has been.
Okay, does Bud Selig often say, we have a family game here that we need to protect? What message, seriously now, I'm not overreacting to this, what message are you sending to your son when you see managers run on the field and act like idiots screaming at the authority figures on the field? What do you, come on.
Hey, Skip, the reason why they can go into the field is because they have on uniforms. That's why he can go on the field.
Well, now, I will agree with you. That's silly to me.
There is a double standard as far as the other sports is concerned, and my brother's exactly right. What's comical to me is that a 60, 70-year-old guy is wearing a baseball uniform, but that's for another day.
It is.
Bottom line is, it's entertaining, Skip. It's no big deal. It's no big deal.
So why doesn't football need it? Why doesn't basketball need it?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I do know that this is
baseball is
We
boring.
got to leave it there. Don Zimmer can't believe that you think he doesn't look good in a uniform. Let's